the soul that lies crucified on the body. Verse 26. Holding the limbs together, remaining like a bolt, the limb owner envelops as vaporous being. For this reason, that man and this man arise in this way, so that man believes, due solely to the weakness of non-discrimination. Commentary. This body of ours, which is constituted of many parts, is held together by the living entity. Everything is kept together by the agency of breath, which is vaporous. As one such constituent body looks different from another, we fail to discriminate the living entity that is pervading all beings as one and the same. It is commonly believed that there are no two snow crystals that look alike. Similarly, we never come across two human beings who are exactly alike, although they all have the same kind of body. The police take advantage of this fact when they record people's fingerprints for security purposes. It seems impossible that with so many billions of hands in this world, multiplied by 10 for all the fingers, no two fingerprints are the same. We make a big deal of this difference, which we see only on the skin of the thumb, for instance. The whole world attaches so much importance to such a superficial variation solely to find out who did something wrong. But no matter how much you study these prints, you won't learn who did something right. A thumbprint is only useful for finding out a wrongdoer. It won't help you to find the good or discern truth. If you look at a big wrestler's body, it is so round. The muscles look like they are made of steel. He moves around with so much confidence in his strength. But if he does not breathe for a couple of minutes, that is all it will take for him to lose consciousness and fall down, crashing to earth as if he has no strength at all. If he does not resume breathing quickly, his body becomes stiff. Then it swells up and all the cells break. The body decays and soon becomes part of the earth. It is not a great wonder that little breath in us is maintaining all the functions of the body. It causes us to celebrate, circulate blood, respire, digest food, grow and change, and learn and retain our memory. All this depends on a tiny bit of vapor, the incoming and the outgoing breath. So, what is it within us that goes on doing everything for us, expanding and contracting the lungs, keeping up the throb of the heart? We walk around in this body all day, and we live in it all the time, and yet we do not know anything of these functions. Physiologists, neurologists, and biologists are all running around looking at every synapse, cell, and protein formation, thinking that from this they will get some clue. They know something is altering proteins, something is making synaptic changes, and cells are growing and dying. But what is that something? Nobody knows. John Lilly asked the question, who is the programmer? There is a grand program going on in this human biocomputer, but who is the programmer? The programmer is called in this verse Avayavi, the one who owns all the separate parts of the body. The limb owner is making this vaporous thing operate, and this operation causes weakness in the power of discrimination. You are sitting here. The life in you did not come from a piece of stone or out of thin air. It came from two living people, your father and mother. Go backward in your mind and retrospect. See how you were lying as a fetus in your mother's womb. Go beyond that. Before the union of your parents, were you not still potentially in them? Yes, sure. So then, what is your age now? Is it from your birth date to now, plus your gestation, plus your parents' age? And behind your two parents are four other people, your father's and your mother's parents. So add in their age. If you go on like this for 20 generations, you already have more than 2 million people and hundreds of years behind you. Over 2 million people involved in producing you in just 20 generations. Now go back even before the appearance of human beings to other species. Who then is an alien to you? The very life which is now functioning in you is spread out through all these forms of beings. It is one and the same principle in all. Do we have eyes to see it? No, we are too weak to discriminate that way. The Guru says, Avashatayam. We are weak, so we cannot discriminate. Since we cannot discriminate, we can only take into account the immediate changes within this one system. What is knowledge or awareness? As scientists understand it, it is only a specific change that happens chemically in our brain matter. Recent studies of synapses have shown that in learning they undergo a plastic change of size, of shape and size, and then retain the change by molecular function. This is understood as a constituent part of a general experience of pain or pleasure caused by the agitation of the nerves. When you say 2 and 2 make 4, this is what happens. Also, when you get a pinprick, this is happening. And again, when you say, I am thinking of God, this is what is happening. Thus, substantially, there is no difference between your knowledge of comprehending the Absolute and having a pinprick. At the nervous level, it's all useless, superficial agitation. Such an understanding may bring us total dismay. We soon come to a dark chamber and stand outside its door, unable to penetrate into it to know the secret of how this agitation is manifesting. Who keeps this order? Who decides what kind of plastic change should occur to represent an idea? Who decides how it can be retained? Who decides what kind of protein to make and when? Even our clumsy research has isolated and named more than 20 varieties of protein, but no one knows what is behind it. Our knowledge is coming and standing at the portals of this wonder, unable to penetrate beneath the surface. Beyond lies a great darkness. The greatest of all wisdom, all knowledge, is happening behind that door and in that darkness. It keeps the whole universe proliferating and multiplying endlessly. What a great wonder it is. When we look at it this way, this very earth on which we walk is the great mother from which all this has come. How many times should we kneel with gratitude that all this was made possible from mere dust? It may look superstitious to say that out of dust God created man, but it is the perfect truth. Forget God if you like, but you can certainly see that out of the dust of the earth came all of you who are sitting here, listening to another cloud of earth who is articulating. Seen from inside like this, how can we be different? And yet our little pains are so very important to us. Our life is not ruled by wisdom, but by pain. Little pains and agitations. Narayana Guru is lamenting the weakness which makes it difficult for us to go beyond the darkness and see the wonder of all this. He is preparing our minds to receive his definition of the self, which he gives in the next verse. This is not something you discuss and know by your reason. You have to lay down your tools and Watch the game for a little while with the attitude of a silent witness. Retire. If you like, you can try to imagine the 2,097,150 people who were your progenitors in the last 20 generations. Line them up behind you and look at everybody's face. See how you have come directly from their scrotums and ovaries. None of them were aware of producing a child. They only found out when the woman vomited and had terrible pains that something had happened to her. You and I came in secret and in ignorance. Nobody knew, but unfailingly it was going on all through the long years. The unfortunate genes that happened to get into me as a sannyasi, a celibate person, may perish with me. But that won't stop the world. I can only stop my part of it. Life, which was to be perpetuated for millennium, to come in my scrotum. I can put an end to it and give it peace, peace, peace. But so many others have already contributed to perpetuation. After their children will be another 20 generations, another 2 million people lined up. Behind us, we see not only human beings. As Carl Sagan has said, we can also see the dragons and dinosaurs as our great-grandfathers. I do not even know all the species involved, which means I have forgotten my own great-grandfather. Sagan even speaks of the possibility of a gnat mating with a giraffe and becoming an ostrich because the life-bearing genes of each are not bigger despite the proportion of their bodies. Thomas à Kempis, in The Imitation of Christ, says that all the learning you have gained here has helped you only to increase your vanity. How can you ever gain your sanity again? He claims you have become profound in knowing all the theological explanations of the Trinity, but you have lost your humility. We become humble just as soon as we come to know that there is nothing to be proud of. We do not yet know who we are. When you say, I do not know, that's the temple in which dwells your real being. The door of that ignorance has to open. There is someone within the dark chamber saying, I know. When the sound I know comes outside, it changes into I don't know, because it is a knower who is saying, I do not know. This is a big miracle, the knower who is sitting behind and saying, I do not know. In the Kena Upanishad, it says, one who does not know claims that he knows, and one who knows keeps quiet. The wonder is too much for him even to acknowledge what he knows. While I am speaking to you, countless millions of bacteria are having breakfast inside my lungs and my heart. They are all separate beings with their own personalities. If you look through a microscope at a dab of spittle, you can see that each bacterium walks around with its own program, some with a shirt or pants shades, clean-shaven or with a beard. Yet, with all this inside me, I behave as if I am only one person. So either I am millions of people or we are all one person. Now think of this magical bolt by which all these corporeal entities within the body are held together as if they are one. Meditate on this. What is it that keeps your whole body united? Why doesn't it all fall apart? Once a good friend of mine in Australia came to see me. She was so overjoyed about meeting me that she was driving madly, and her car struck a lamppost. After the big shock, she found something was missing. She could only find one hand. The other one had come off and was lying behind her. She couldn't believe that a hand could just come off like that. She was fully in her right mind, when people came running to help, but she told them not to worry about taking her to a hospital. She said, "My friend can heal it just by touching it," and insisted on going to a chiropractor who could put it back in the socket. Then she was brought to me. She said, "It's all right, just touch me." None of us know how it really happened, but after some time, she was all right. Just as the hand came off, it came back. Who healed it? How did it heal by itself so easily? We don't know. Where is this bolt we are speaking of? There is actually no nut and bolt. It is all held together just by supposition. When you are walking on your 2 feet, you do not realize you are performing a great circus feat, balancing a body upright on just 2 feet. This wonder called life, that is what you should meditate on. See how the wonder is the same in a slug as well as in you. When you come to this place for meditation, don't trample on all the poor slugs. They cannot walk fast. Like you, they want to be around us and come up the stairs little by little. But before they reach the meditation hall, some pious meditator tramples upon them. We have a spider sitting here in the corner, meditating with us. All these seemingly insignificant creatures are part of the same web of life to which we also belong. And the free translation of verse number 26 is, "The self that owns the body bolts all the limbs together and animates it with the vaporous stuff. Once having become identified with the physical body, one loses right comprehension and fancies a separate reality for each person."